Welcome to the peaceful space of sleep-friendly science, where tonight we explore the fleeting, dreamlike sensation of déjà vu, a curious glitch in the fabric of our perception. It's a feeling almost all of us have known, that sudden, uncanny certainty that you've experienced this exact moment before. Is it a memory from a dream, a glimpse into another life, or a simple, fascinating trick of the brain? Let your curiosity drift as we gently pull back the curtain on this shared human mystery. Now, settle in, take a deep breath, and let the soft sounds guide you as we begin tonight's journey into the unknown. Section 1. The Unsettling Echo. Settle in just for a moment. Let the world outside this space, outside this sound, begin to soften at its edges. Allow your shoulders to fall, your breath to deepen, finding a quiet, unhurried rhythm. Here, in this shared stillness, we are about to begin a journey. A journey not across continents or oceans, but inward, into the soft, mysterious architecture of the mind itself. Imagine, if you will, that you are sitting in a small, sunlit cafe. The air is warm and smells of roasted coffee and old paper from the bookstore next door. The low murmur of conversation around you is a gentle river of sound, indistinct and soothing. You are not waiting for anyone. You are simply there, a quiet island in the flow of the afternoon. You lift a heavy ceramic mug to your lips, the warmth seeping into your palms. Through the large window, you watch dust motes dance like tiny, golden sprites in the slanted columns of light. It is a moment of perfect, unremarkable peace. And then it happens. It does not arrive with a thunderclap or a flashing light. It slips in through a crack in the ordinary. Perhaps it's the specific way a stranger at a nearby table laughs, a sudden, sharp bark of a sound that pierces the gentle hum. Or maybe it's the way the light catches the silver spoon resting beside your cup, casting a long, trembling sliver of reflection on the dark wood of the table. It could be anything. A fleeting gesture, a half-heard phrase, a scent you can't quite name. But whatever the trigger, the effect is instantaneous and profound. The world does not stop, but it stutters. For the briefest of instants, a fraction of a second that feels stretched into an eternity, reality seems to double. A phantom layer of experience descends upon the present moment, a transparent overlay that is intensely, impossibly familiar. You have been here before. Not just in a similar cafe, but here. In this exact seat, with this same slant of light, listening to that same specific laugh. You have lived this precise sequence of seconds already. The feeling is not a memory. A memory is something you recall, something you pull from the archives of your past. It has context. You remember the time you visited the ocean. You can feel the phantom grit of sand between your toes and hear the roar of the waves. But this is different. This is not a recollection. It is a reliving. The memory is happening to you right now. The past is not a distant country. It has suddenly, inexplicably, become the present. You know, with a certainty that defies all logic, what will happen next. You know that the stranger will lift a hand to cover their mouth. You know that the server, carrying a tray of pastries, will pass by the window in 3, 2, 1, and there she is. Each event unfolds exactly as the strange, internal script dictates. You are an actor in a play you have performed before, the lines coming to you just a breath before they are spoken aloud. Your conscious mind scrambles for purchase. It's a frantic librarian, running through the vast, endless corridors of your memory, pulling down volumes, blowing dust off forgotten chapters. Have I been to this cafe before?
No.
Do I know that person?
Impossible.
Was it a dream? Did I see this place in a movie? The questions are a frantic, silent cascade, but they all come back empty. There is no record, no file, no logical explanation for this tidal wave of familiarity. The sensation is a paradox, a contradiction held in a single, breathless moment. It is at once deeply comforting, this feeling of knowing, of being on a set, pre-written path, and profoundly unsettling. It's as if you've caught a glimpse behind the curtain of reality, seeing the gears and pulleys that construct your experience of time. It's the feeling of a ghost in the machine, a whisper in a soundproof room, an echo without a source. Your heart might beat a little faster. A strange, cool shiver might trace a path down your spine. The world, for that moment, seems both intensely real and utterly illusory. You are here, feeling the solid weight of the mug in your hands, and yet you are also a spectator, watching a rerun of a film you don't remember ever having seen. It's a glitch. A beautiful, terrifying, and wondrous glitch in the smooth fabric of your perception. And then, as quickly and as quietly as it arrived, it dissolves. The phantom overlay evaporates. The echo fades. The stranger's laugh is just a laugh again. The light on the spoon is just light. The server is just a person walking past a window. The moment releases you from its grip, and you are left floating in its wake, the ordinary world rushing back in to fill the space it left behind. Everything is the same. The coffee is still warm. The sun is still shining. The murmur of the cafe is unchanged. And yet you are not the same. You are left with the residue of the experience, a lingering question mark hanging in the quiet air of your mind. You have just touched upon one of the most common and most mysterious phenomena of human consciousness. You have just experienced déjà vu, the feeling of having already seen. But what have you seen? A glimpse of a past life? A premonition of the future? Or was it something else entirely? A trick of the mind, a flicker in the intricate wiring of your brain, a ghost note in the grand symphony of your awareness? The feeling leaves you with a quiet sense of wonder, a subtle disorientation that invites you to question the very nature of the now. What was that fleeting, phantom moment? Where did it come from? And what does it tell us about the hidden, silent processes that weave together our reality, second by ordinary second? The search for an answer begins not by looking outward, but by turning your gaze further inward, into the strange and beautiful landscape where this echo was born. Section 2. The Search for a Ghost. The world snaps back into focus, but it's like a photograph that has been ever so slightly misaligned before being set right. The seams of reality feel, for a moment, visible. You take a breath, a conscious, deliberate act of pulling the present back into your lungs. The air is the same, the light is the same, yet a fine, invisible dust of strangeness now coats everything. The moment is past, but its ghost lingers. It's a phantom limb of time. You can feel its presence, its shape, its weight, even though you know, rationally, that there is nothing there. Your mind, the ever-diligent guardian of your sanity, cannot let this go. It springs into action, not with alarm, but with a deep, furrowed brow curiosity. It becomes a detective in the quiet, lamp-lit office of your consciousness, the strange event laid out on the desk like an unsolvable case file. The first, most pressing task is to find the source, to catch this ghost, to give this echo a name and a place. So the search begins. Your awareness, like a careful hand, begins to sift through the top layers of your memory, the ones most easily accessed. The cafe. Have you been here? You trace the logic backward. You think of the route you took to get here today, a clear and unbroken chain of events. You recall planning the outing, the thought process that led you to this specific neighborhood. You scan your memories of the past week, the past month, the past year. You find other cafes, yes. Similar ones, perhaps. Sunlit corners, the scent of coffee, wooden tables. But not this one. The mental file for this specific arrangement of atoms, this chipped mug, this pattern of light, this particular cadence of laughter, it simply isn't there. The rational mind is persistent. It does not give up easily. It insists on an explanation that fits within the known laws of your personal universe. Perhaps it was longer ago, a memory from childhood, buried deep beneath the silt of decades. You send your thoughts deeper now, into the hazier, more impressionistic galleries of your youth. You try to conjure the feeling of a smaller hand held by a larger one, being led into a place like this. You search for a forgotten holiday, a trip to a town you no longer remember the name of. But the search yields nothing. The emotional tenor is wrong. Childhood memories have their own distinct flavor, a mix of nostalgia, innocence, and the slightly distorted scale of a world seen through younger eyes. This feeling, this phantom echo, was different. It felt recent. It felt adult. It was imbued with the texture of your current life, your current consciousness. The detective in your mind crosses off the first lead. It was not a direct, forgotten memory. So, it must be something else. What is the next most likely culprit? A dream. Ah, yes. The dream world. That strange, nocturnal theater where the mind is both playwright and audience, where the laws of physics are suggestions and the cast of characters is drawn from the deepest reservoirs of your subconscious. You consider this possibility, and it feels for a moment plausible. The mind is a tireless creator of worlds while you sleep. Every night, it builds cities, stages conversations, and paints landscapes with a surreal and fleeting beauty. Could it be that last night or a week ago, your sleeping brain constructed this very scene? The cafe, the light, the laugh? And that the memory of it, too fragile to survive the journey into the waking world, lingered only as a disembodied feeling of familiarity, waiting for a real-world trigger to activate it? It's an elegant hypothesis. It feels comfortable. It places the strange experience in a known box, labeled tricks of the subconscious. You try to recall your recent dreams. You chase after the fleeting images that evaporate upon waking, the narratives that crumble into nonsense when exposed to the light of day. You might remember a fragment flying over a city, being late for an exam you haven't had in 20 years, but the details are slippery, coded in the strange, iridescent logic of sleep. You cannot definitively say you dreamed of this cafe. But more importantly, you cannot definitively say you didn't. The dream world is a convenient and unfalsifiable explanation. It's a ghost that can never truly be caught or disproven. And yet, it doesn't feel quite right. The sensation of déjà vu was so sharp, so clear, so intensely real. It didn't have the fuzzy, nonsensical quality of a dream. It felt like a memory of reality, not a memory of a fabrication. The feeling was not, "This is like that dream I had," but "I have lived this moment before." The conviction was absolute. The search continues. If not a real memory, and if not a dream, then what? Your mind casts its net wider. A film? A photograph? A story you once read? The human mind is a vast repository of consumed media. You have, in your lifetime, seen tens of thousands of hours of moving images, looked at millions of photographs, read millions of words. It is an ocean of vicarious experience. Could this scene be a composite, skillfully assembled from forgotten fragments of other people's art? You imagine a director framing this exact shot. You think of a novelist describing this precise slant of light. It's possible, of course. The building blocks of this scene are not unique. But the feeling of déjà vu is not about recognizing constituent parts. It's about the holistic, undeniable sensation of reliving a personal experience. You don't feel like you're recognizing a movie set. You feel like you're re-inhabiting your own past. The emotional signature is one of autobiography, not spectatorship. And so, the detective in your mind sits back, the case file still open, the clues leading nowhere. Every logical avenue ends in a quiet, frustrating dead end. You have searched the archives of your life, the murky landscapes of your dreams, and the vast libraries of your absorbed culture, and the ghost remains at large. It refuses to be classified. It defies your attempts to pin it down, to label it, to render it safe and understandable. This failure of the conscious, rational mind is a humbling experience. It reveals the limits of what you know about yourself. It suggests that the smooth, continuous stream of consciousness you inhabit every day is perhaps more fragile, more constructed than you imagine. You, the pilot of your own being, have just been shown a piece of machinery under the dashboard that you never knew existed, a piece of machinery that just for a second sputtered and made a strange noise. You are left not with an answer, but with a deeper, more profound question. The focus of your inquiry begins to shift. Perhaps you have been asking the wrong thing. Perhaps the question is not, "What did I just remember?" but "How do I remember in the first place?" Perhaps the glitch was not in the content of your memory, the ghost of the cave, but in the mechanism of memory itself. Perhaps the echo had no source because it wasn't an echo of the past at all, but a momentary hiccup in the complex, beautiful, and silent process that creates the present. To understand the ghost, you must first understand the machine that perceived it. You must turn your gaze away from the phantom reflection and look, instead, at the mirror itself. A mirror built from the most complex and mysterious substance in the known universe, the human brain. Section 3. The Library of the Mind. And so, you turn your gaze inward. You let the cafe, the world of solid objects and external sounds, dissolve. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to see more clearly. Behind the curtain of your eyelids lies a universe far more vast and intricate than the one outside. This is the inner landscape, the silent, sprawling continent of your own mind. Let us, together, step across the threshold. Imagine it as a library. Not a modern one, with harsh lights and digital catalogs, but an ancient, sprawling edifice, built from the stuff of thought and time itself. The library of the soul. Its walls are not made of stone, but of accumulated experience. Its corridors echo not with footsteps, but with the faint, ghostly resonance of past emotions. It has no single architect. It has been built, floor by floor, wing by wing, by every second of your life. It is a place of impossible, beautiful complexity. The main halls of this library are the great shelves of your cerebral cortex. These shelves stretch up into darkness, higher than you can see, and run in winding, labyrinthine rows further than you could ever walk. And they are not filled with books. The memories here are stored in a form far richer, far more true to life. A memory of your childhood home is not a flat description on a page. It is a shimmering, three-dimensional tapestry, woven from threads of light, scent, and sound. You can reach out and touch the phantom texture of the wallpaper, smell the ghost of baking bread from the kitchen, hear the distant, joyful shouts from the garden. A memory of learning to ride a bicycle is not a list of instructions. It is a delicate, kinetic sculpture of motion and feeling the wobble of the handlebars, the scraped knee, the sudden, breathtaking moment of balance, all preserved in perfect, dynamic form. A memory of a piece of music is a vial of captured sound, which, when uncorked, fills the hall with a symphony only you can hear. This is the grand archive, the repository of everything you know, everything you are. Here lie your skills, your knowledge, your language, the faces of everyone you have ever loved. It is the accumulated treasure of your existence, quietly, patiently stored. But a library, no matter how vast, is useless without a librarian. And at the grand entrance to this library, in a brightly lit atrium through which all new experiences must pass, sits a figure of immense importance. This is your hippocampus. Let us imagine it not as a seahorse-shaped curve of tissue, but as the master scribe. The scribe is diligent, meticulous, and ceaselessly busy. Its sole task is to take the raw, chaotic flood of the present moment and bind it into a coherent memory. Every second of your waking life, a torrent of information pours into its atrium. The warmth of the coffee mug in your hands, the precise shade of blue in the sky, the complex pattern of a friend's smile, the specific sequence of notes in a passing song, all of these disparate sensations arrive at once. They are like a pile of loose, unconnected photographs, sounds, and textures. The scribe's first job is to be a master weaver. With incredible speed and precision, it takes these separate threads of sensation and weaves them together into a single, cohesive tapestry. It links the feeling of the mug with the sight of the steam rising from it and the smell of the coffee. It creates a single, unified event, drinking coffee in the morning. Without the scribe, your life would be a meaningless blizzard of disconnected data points. You would have no story, only sensory noise. But its second job is perhaps even more crucial, and certainly more mysterious. As it finishes weaving this new tapestry of the present moment, the scribe performs one final, vital act. It takes out a special seal, a stamp made of invisible ink, and it presses it firmly onto the new memory. This is the stamp of context. It marks the memory with two critical pieces of information: where and when. It embosses the memory with a unique chronological and spatial signature. This stamp is what says, "This happened on a Tuesday morning in the kitchen last year." It is the invisible tag that sorts the archives, that distinguishes the now from the then. It is the mechanism that gives you a sense of personal history, a timeline. It is how you know that a memory is, in fact, a memoria dispatched from the past, not an event happening in the present. And beside the scribe sits another, smaller figure, the emotional colorist, your amygdala. While the scribe is concerned with the what, where, and when, the colorist is concerned with the how it felt. As the scribe holds up each newly woven memory, the colorist dips its brushes into pots of pure feeling joy, fear, sorrow, wonder, anger, and applies a wash of color. A memory of unexpected praise is saturated in warm, golden light. A memory of a sudden fright is tinged with a stark, cold blue. A memory of profound loss is stained with deep, transparent gray. This is why some memories shout at you from the shelves, vibrant and powerful, while others are pale, neutral, and easy to pass by. Once a new experience has been woven together by the scribe and colored by the colorist, it is ready for permanent storage. Silent attendance, the neural pathways carry this new, shimmering memory object away from the busy entrance hall and deep into the quiet, endless stacks of the cortex. There, it is carefully filed away, placed in relation to other, similar memories, becoming another thread in the impossibly vast tapestry of you. This entire process, this silent, intricate ballet of sensation, weaving, stamping, coloring, and filing, happens constantly. It is happening to you right now. It is the unseen miracle that underpins your entire conscious life. It is so seamless, so utterly reliable, that you are never aware of it. You simply live, and the library of your mind quietly, perfectly, archives your life behind you. The system is designed for invisibility. Its perfection is its silence. But now, consider the sheer, breathtaking complexity of this operation. The scribe, working without pause, processing an endless stream of data. The colorist, making instantaneous emotional judgments. The filing system, storing billions upon billions of these intricate memory objects. It is the most sophisticated information processing system in the known universe. And with any system of such staggering complexity, there is always the possibility, however remote, of a momentary, harmless imperfection. A brief hiccup in the otherwise flawless flow. What if, for just a fraction of a second, the scribe were to be distracted? What if its attention were to be split, its process momentarily interrupted? What if the chronological stamp, the seal that separates now from then, were to be applied incorrectly or a moment too late? What phantom would be created in such a flicker of mistiming? To understand the glitch in the cafe, we must first understand the perfect, rhythmic river of perception that it so briefly disturbed. Section 4. The River of Now. Let us leave the quiet, echoing halls of the library for a moment and step outside into the landscape of the present. Here, there is no past, no future. There is only the continuous, flowing, seamless experience of now. Imagine this experience not as a series of static moments, but as a great, clear river. This is the river of consciousness, and you are not so much a boat floating upon it as you are the river itself. This river is fed by countless smaller streams, the tributaries of your senses. From one side flows the stream of sight, carrying with it a ceaseless cascade of light, color, and form the deep green of a leaf, the sharp angle of a rooftop against the sky, the subtle dance of expression on a human face. From another, the stream of sound pours in, a liquid symphony of birdsong, traffic, the rhythm of your own breathing, the sound of these words. Other streams bring the sensations of touch, the pressure of the ground beneath your feet, the temperature of the air on your skin, and the subtle, evocative currents of smell and taste. All these tributaries converge and mingle in the grand riverbed of your awareness, creating the single, unified, and ever-changing experience you call the present moment. It is a miracle of integration. You do not experience the world as a separate feed of audio and video. You do not see a silent laugh and then, a moment later, hear the sound it makes. The sight, the sound, the context, it all arrives as one. The river flows as a single, indivisible body of water. The current of this river is powerful but gentle. It carries you forward at a constant, unvarying pace, 1 second per second. You cannot slow it down to linger in a beautiful moment, nor can you speed it up to rush past an unpleasant one. The flow is absolute. This steady, forward momentum is your perception of time. It is so fundamental to your existence that you barely notice it, any more than a fish notices the water it swims in. It is the invisible medium in which your entire life unfolds. As you, the river, flow along, the landscape on the banks is constantly changing. This landscape is the external world. You pass by forests of experience, mountains of challenge, sunlit meadows of peace. And everything you pass, every detail of the riverbank, is flawlessly reflected on your surface. The river holds a perfect, real-time mirror to the world. What is out there is, in the same instant, reflected in here, in the water of your consciousness. Now, let's reintroduce our diligent scribe, the hippocampus, from the library of the mind. Where does it fit into this metaphor? The scribe does not sit on the bank. It is within the river itself, a silent, magical loom just beneath the surface. As the waters of sight, sound, and feeling flow over it, the loom instantly weaves them together. It doesn't wait for the water to pass by, it processes it as it flows. This is the critical point. The act of experiencing and the act of creating a memory of that experience are, under normal circumstances, happening simultaneously. They are two sides of the same coin, a single, fluid process. As the river flows, this loam weaves the water into a shimmering, invisible tapestry of memory, which then sinks down into the deep, quiet riverbed to be stored. The surface of the river, your conscious awareness, remains clear and reflective, perfectly mirroring the present. You are not aware of the weaving happening just beneath the surface. You are simply aware of the flow, of the ever-changing reflection of the world. The process is so elegant, so seamless, that you perceive no distinction between the experience and the recording of it.
Think about it.
When you look at a beautiful sunset, you are not thinking, I am now forming a memory of this sunset. You are simply in the experience. The beauty, the color, the feeling, it's all one. The memory formation is an automatic, background process, a silent gift from the intricate machinery of your mind. It is only later, when you call that memory forth from the library, that you recognize it as a record of a past event. That is thanks to the chronological stamp, the where and when applied by the scribe. The stamp allows you to look at an old tapestry and know, this was woven on another day, in another place. It is what gives you a past. So, this is the ideal state. A perfect, uninterrupted flow. The tributaries of sense feeding into the main river of consciousness. The loom of the hippocampus, just beneath the surface, weaving the waters of the present into the fabric of memory, all in one continuous, fluid motion. The surface of the river remains a perfect mirror of the now, while the depths of the riverbed quietly accumulate the archives of the then. This system is predicated on perfect timing. The sensory information must arrive, be perceived, and be encoded into memory in a tightly synchronized dance. It's a symphony where every instrument must play its note at the exact, correct microsecond. The violins of sight, the cellos of sound, the deep drums of emotion, all must be perfectly in sync for the symphony of consciousness to sound harmonious. For 99.999% of your life, this symphony is played to perfection. The conductor is flawless. The orchestra is sublime. But what would happen if there were a momentary delay? What if one of the streams, one of the tributaries of sense, was to be slowed down, just for a millisecond, before it reached the main river? Or, more subtly, What if the information flowed perfectly, but the loom itself, the scribe, experienced a momentary stutter? What if the weaving process and the perception process, normally a single action, were to become momentarily desynchronized? Imagine a single drop of water from the stream of sight arriving at the loom a fraction of a second before it has fully registered on the reflective surface of your conscious awareness. The loom, ever diligent, would weave it into the tapestry of memory. Then, a blink of an eye later, that same drop of water would arrive on the surface, and you would become consciously aware of it. In that moment, a strange paradox would occur. You would be perceiving something for the very first time, and yet, the loom beneath the surface would have already woven it into a memory. Your mind, in its quest for coherence, would check the archives and find a record of this exact moment, already filed away. The feeling would be undeniable. I have seen this before. Because, in a strange, neurological sense, you have. The memory of the event was created a split second before the conscious perception of it. The river, for a single, jarring instant, would see a reflection not of the riverbank, but of its own, just created memory. The now would be perceived through the lens of the just now. The echo would have found its source, and the source would be time itself, folding back on itself in a tiny, imperceptible, and breathtakingly beautiful wrinkle. Section 5. A moment out of sync. Let us return to that river, the clear, flowing water of your present moment. We left it on the precipice of a question, a paradox of time. You are floating on the surface, seeing the world reflected in perfect clarity. And just beneath, the diligent scribe on its loom is weaving the experience into memory. A single, unified, synchronous act. Now, let's look closer at the architecture of this magical process. The information from the world, the light from the cafe window, the sound of the stranger's laugh, doesn't arrive at the river through a single, wide channel. It travels along two parallel paths. Imagine two aqueducts, side by side, carrying the water of experience from the world to your river of consciousness. One path is the express route. It is direct, fast, and unadorned. It carries the raw data, the bare facts of sensation, straight to the loom of the scribe, the hippocampus. Its job is identification. What is this? A cup, a laugh, a ray of light. It's a rapid, subconscious process that happens before you're even fully aware of it. The second path is the scenic route. It is slightly longer, more winding. It passes through the higher, more sophisticated regions of your mind, the grand halls of the cortex. This path doesn't just carry the data, it enriches it. It adds context, meaning, and interpretation. Its job is comprehension. What does this cup mean to me? How do I feel about this laugh? What does this light remind me of? This is the path that leads to the reflective surface of the river, to your full, conscious awareness. In the grand, perfect design of the mind, these two paths are calibrated with breathtaking precision. The scenic route is longer, yes, but the information travels along it at a higher speed. The result is that the data from both paths arrives at its destination a loom and the surface at the exact same moment. They are synchronized to the millisecond. The what it is and the what it means merge into a single, seamless perception. You experience the world as a whole, rich, and immediate reality. But now, imagine a tiny, momentary fluctuation in the system. Nothing dramatic, nothing dangerous. Perhaps you are tired. Perhaps you are distracted for a fraction of a second, your attention elsewhere, and then you look up. In that moment, the delicate calibration is thrown off by a hair's breadth. The signal traveling the express route arrives on schedule. It zips straight to the scribe, the hippocampus, which immediately begins its work. It takes the raw data, the cup, the light, the laugh, and weaves it into a memory tapestry. It applies the chronological stamp. This has happened. The memory is formed and filed away in the silent archives. The whole process takes a fraction of a second, all beneath the surface of your awareness. But the signal on the scenic route, the one destined for your conscious perception, has been delayed. It's a traffic jam measured in milliseconds, a cosmic hiccup. So, A moment after the memory has already been created and stored, the experience finally arrives at the surface of the river. And what do you perceive? You perceive the scene for the first time. The cup, the light, the laugh. It is, to your conscious mind, a completely new event. But your brain, in its constant, vigilant effort to make sense of the world, performs an instantaneous background check. As you perceive the scene, a part of your mind sends a query down into the library. Have we encountered this before? And this time, to its own profound surprise, the answer comes back. Yes. The query returns not with a vague sense of similarity, but with a perfect 1-to-1 match. A freshly woven tapestry of this exact moment is already sitting on the shelf. The brain is faced with an impossible contradiction. The conscious, analytical part of you is screaming, "This is new. I have never been here." But the deep, automatic, memory-checking part is screaming with equal certainty, "This is old. I have already recorded this." This is the essence of the dual processing theory of déjà vu. It is not a memory from the past. It is a conflict in the present. It is the feeling of your own brain catching itself in a tiny, momentary processing error. The strange, unsettling certainty that you know what will happen next, the server walking past the window, is not a premonition. It is the delayed signal from the scenic route finally catching up. You are experiencing the full, enriched, conscious perception of events that your subconscious express route has already logged a moment before. You are, in essence, receiving the director's commentary track a split second after you've already seen the scene. This theory reframes déjà vu from something mystical or paranormal into something deeply, beautifully biological. It is not a ghost from a past life. It is a flicker in the electrical symphony of your neural pathways. It's a sign not that your brain is broken, but that it is so complex, so fast, and so brilliantly efficient that occasionally, two processes that are meant to be perfectly aligned slip, for an instant, out of sync. Think of it like a film where the audio track, just for a second, falls out of sync with the video. You see the lips move, and then a fraction of a second later, you hear the word. The effect is jarring and strange. It makes you hyper-aware of the fact that you are watching a constructed medium. Déjà vu is the psychological equivalent of that. It's a momentary desynchronization between the video of your conscious perception and the audio of your memory encoding process. For a brief moment, you become aware of the seams in your own reality, the intricate editing that is usually perfectly invisible. It's a glitch, yes. But it's a glitch born of sophistication, not of failure. It's a testament to a system so finely tuned that a delay of a few milliseconds can create a profound philosophical crisis in the mind of its owner. The feeling in the cafe was the reverberation of this momentary neurological stutter. It was the strange echo created when the present was accidentally recorded as the past, just a heartbeat before it was experienced as the now. But is this the only story the library tells? Are there other ghosts in the machine, other explanations whispered in the quiet corridors of the mind? Perhaps the echo comes not from a stutter in time, but from a fragment of the past, forgotten but not gone. Section 6. The Fragmented Past. The story of a moment out of sync is an elegant one. It paints a picture of our consciousness as a delicate, high-precision clockwork, where the slightest mistiming of a single gear can produce a profound and mysterious experience. It is a clean, mechanical explanation, beautiful in its simplicity. It suggests the ghost in the machine is a phantom of timing, an echo created by the present moment itself. But let us, for a moment, consider another possibility. Another story whispered in the deep, dusty stacks of the library of the mind. What if the echo is not an echo of the present at all? What if it is, in fact, a true echo, a genuine reverberation from your past, but a past so fragmented, so deeply buried, that you can no longer recognize its source? What if the glitch is not in the timing of the loom, but in the tapestries themselves? Let us return to those ancient, sprawling halls of your memory. We have pictured the memories as shimmering, holistic tapestries and rich, kinetic sculptures. But they are also something else. Imagine each memory as an intricate mosaic, a picture made from thousands of tiny, individual tiles. Each tile is a single, discrete element of perception: the precise shade of red on a bicycle, the specific geometric pattern of a floor, the unique curve of a chair's leg, the scent of rain on hot pavement, the particular way a voice rises in pitch at the end of a question. When a memory is new and fresh, the mosaic is complete. All the tiles are held firmly in place by the strong grout of context. You remember the red bicycle, yes, but you also remember that it was your 7th birthday, the sun was shining, and your father was holding the seat, running behind you. The context, the story, is what holds the individual pieces together. But time is a gentle, persistent solvent. Over the years, as you move further away from an experience, the grout of context begins to weaken, to crumble. The grand story fades. You might forget the day of the week, then the year. You might forget who else was there. The emotional coloring applied by the amygdala might fade from a vibrant gold to a pale, washed-out yellow. The mosaic begins to lose its coherence. And sometimes a single tile comes loose. It falls from the grand picture and tumbles down into the dusty, forgotten corners of the library. The rest of the mosaic, the bicycle, the birthday, your father's encouraging shout, has dissolved into the indistinct haze of the deep past. But this one single tile remains, an orphaned fragment of perception. It is a piece of a puzzle for which the box has been lost. It is a word from a sentence that has been erased. It holds no explicit information. It is just a pattern, a shape,
a sound,
a specific, isolated piece of sensory data, stripped of all its history. You are not aware of its existence. It is an implicit memory, a ghost hiding in the passive archives. Now, fast forward to today. You walk into that sunlit cafe. The scene is, by all conscious metrics, entirely new. The scribe at the entrance confirms it. No complete memory mosaic of this place exists in the archives. You have never been here before. You settle into your chair, you pick up your mug, and then your eyes drift downward to the pattern of the ceramic tiles on the floor. And you see it. There, on the floor of this new and unfamiliar cafe, is a geometric paterna starburst of black and white that is identical to one of those forgotten, orphan tiles from your past. Perhaps it's from the floor of a doctor's office you visited once as a child. Perhaps it was the linoleum in a grandmother's kitchen you barely remember. The original context is gone, completely inaccessible to your conscious mind. But the tile, the raw pattern itself, is a perfect match. In that instant, a silent alarm goes off in the deep, pattern-matching centers of your brain. A signal of immense power flashes through your neural circuits, a signal that says, simply and with absolute authority, recognition, familiarity, seen before. But here is where the beautiful error occurs. Your conscious mind, which knows you have never been in this cafe, is suddenly flooded with an overwhelming, intense feeling of familiarity. It doesn't know where the feeling is coming from. It can't find the source memory because the source memory no longer exists as a coherent whole. All it has is this powerful, disembodied feeling of, I know this. And so, your brain does what it does best. It creates a story to explain the data. It makes a grand, sweeping, and incorrect assumption. It takes the intense familiarity generated by that one, tiny, forgotten floor tile, and it spreads it across the entire scene. It's like spilling a single drop of potent ink into a glass of clear water. In an instant, the entire volume of water is colored. The powerful feeling of recognition bleeds out from the single, specific trigger and contaminates the whole of your present experience. Suddenly, it's not just the floor that feels familiar. The way the light is slanting through the window feels familiar. The stranger's laugh feels familiar. The server walking past the window feels familiar. Your brain, in its desperate search for coherence, has painted the entire, brand new moment with the colors of a single, forgotten fragment of the past. This is the Gestalt familiarity hypothesis. It explains the strange, paradoxical nature of déjà vu perfectly. It feels like a memory because its root is a real, albeit partial, memory. But you can't place it, you can't access the details, because the context that would give it meaning has been lost to time. You are left with the melody of a song whose name and lyrics you have long since forgotten. The tune is hauntingly familiar, but you cannot for the life of you remember where you heard it before. So the unsettling echo in the cafe may not have been a glitch in the flow of time. It may have been the ghost of a single, forgotten perception rising from its grave. It was a whisper from a part of your own history you no longer consciously remember, a history built not just of grand events, but of millions of tiny, forgotten tiles, any one of which might be lying in wait, ready to make the new feel old and the strange feel like home. But what if the cause is simpler still? What if it's not a complex issue of timing or fragmented memory, but something more fundamental, a brief, harmless spark in the very wiring of the brain itself? Section 7. The Gentle Misfire. We have explored such elegant stories so far. A story of time folding in on itself, a moment out of sync. A story of a fragmented past, a single forgotten tile illuminating the present with a ghostly light. These are explanations born of process and pattern, of psychology and the grand, narrative structure of the mind. They are beautiful, and they hold a deep, resonant truth about the way we organize our world. But what if the cause lies deeper still? What if the explanation is not in the grand architecture of the library, not in the flow of the river, but in the very substance of the mind itself? What if we zoom in, past the metaphors of looms and mosaics, and look at the fundamental, living tissue from which all of this magic is woven? Let us now consider the phenomenon not as a glitch in the software of the mind, but as a flicker in its very hardware. Imagine your brain not as a library, but as a galaxy. A silent, secret cosmos housed within the dome of your skull. It contains 100 billion stars, your neurons, each one a tiny, shimmering point of light and potential. And these stars are not isolated. They are connected by a staggering, incomprehensible network of filaments, a web of axons and dendrites that crisscross the void, carrying messages of light and energy. This is the great cosmic web of your consciousness. And through this web, there flows a constant, silent energy. It is a language of electricity, a ceaseless, crackling conversation between the stars. A thought is a constellation lighting up in a new pattern. A feeling is a wave of soft, colored light washing through an entire galactic cluster. Your very sense of self is the steady, harmonious hum of this entire galaxy, singing its quiet, electrical song. The sheer energy coursing through this system at any given moment is a miracle of biological engineering. Now, deep within this galaxy of thought, in a region we call the temporal lobe, there is a special cluster of stars. Let us call it the sanctum of familiarity. It is nestled close to the great stellar nursery where new memories are born, our friend, the hippocampus. The job of this sanctum is very simple, very specific, and very important. It doesn't store detailed memories. It doesn't care about what or where or when. Its sole function is to act as a switch, a simple binary check. When you encounter a new experience, the sanctum remains quiet. But when you encounter something you have truly seen or heard or felt before, the stars within this sanctum flare up, just for an instant. They send out a powerful, system-wide pulse. A signal that says, simply and authoritatively, known. This known signal is what gives you that warm, comfortable feeling of recognition when you see an old friend or hear a favorite song or return to a childhood home. It's a feeling, not a thought. A pure, raw, neurological sensation of familiarity. Normally, this signal is only ever triggered by a genuine, verified match from the memory archives. The system is exquisitely designed to prevent false positives. But the brain is a biological organ, not a perfect digital computer. It is a living galaxy, humming with bioelectrical vitality. And sometimes, in a system of such immense complexity and energy, a single, spontaneous event can occur. Imagine a single, errant spark. A neurological firefly that blinks into existence for a single, brilliant instant in the sanctum of familiarity. It is not caused by an incoming memory. It is not triggered by a sensory input. It is a random, harmless, and utterly spontaneous discharge. A bell that decides to ring itself. A star that flares for no reason other than its own inner, electrical nature. A ghost note in the symphony. And in that instant, a signal of immense power and purity is released into your consciousness. It is a signal that contains no information, no images, no sounds. It contains only one pure, raw, and overwhelming message: familiar.
Known.
This signal, born of nothing, floods your awareness. And your conscious mind, the great interpreter, the ceaseless seeker of meaning, is thrown into a state of profound confusion. It has just received an undeniable, authoritative feeling of familiarity, but there is no memory attached to it. It's like receiving a letter that says, "You know me," but the letter is blank and has no return address. What does the brain do in the face of such a paradox? It improvises. Desperate to explain this powerful, sourceless feeling, it performs a radical act of misattribution. Your conscious mind, the pilot of your being, looks around at the immediate environment: the sunlit cafe, the stranger's laugh, the slant of light on the spoon, and it makes a logical leap. It concludes that this must be the source of the feeling. It grabs the nearest available object, the present moment, and pins the feeling to it. The story it tells itself is, this powerful feeling of familiarity must be coming from this scene. Therefore, I must have experienced this scene before. And so, déjà vu is born. Under this theory, the experience is an illusion, but the feeling is completely real. The feeling of familiarity came first, generated by a tiny, random electrical flicker in the deep, specialized circuits of your temporal lobe. The narrative of having been here before was a story your conscious mind invented a millisecond later to make sense of that powerful, naked feeling. This is why the experience feels so strange and content-free. This is why you can't place the memory. There is no memory to place. There is only the feeling, a phantom limb of recognition. This is not a glitch in timing or a fragment of a lost past. It is a gentle misfire, a beautiful mistake. And far from being a sign of something wrong, these gentle misfires are most common in young, healthy, and active brains. They are perhaps a sign of a system so vibrant, so crackling with energy, that it occasionally throws a harmless, beautiful spark. It is not a storm, but a single drop of rain on a calm lake. It is not a breakdown, but a ghost note in an otherwise perfect symphony. It is a fleeting, harmless, and deeply human moment that reveals the astonishing link between the raw electricity of our biology and the subtle poetry of our conscious experience. It is a testament to the sheer, untamable vitality of the 3-pound universe you carry within your head. But this universe has other realms, ones that are not governed by the logic of waking life. What whispers might come from the world we enter when we close our eyes to sleep? Section 8. Whispers from a Dream. We have journeyed through the intricate clockwork of the conscious mind, tracing the paths of perception and the phantom echoes of memory. We have peered into the very hardware of the brain, imagining the gentle, random spark that might ignite a feeling of impossible familiarity. These are stories of the waking world, of a reality governed by logic, causality, and the steady, forward march of time. But we are creatures of two worlds. For a third of our lives, we slip the leash of the waking self and descend into a realm where the rules are different. A realm of fluid narratives, symbolic landscapes, and impossible physics. We descend into the world of dreams. Let us consider, now, what role this mysterious other world might play in the strange phenomenon of the déjà vu echo. Could the feeling of having already seen be a whisper from a scene you constructed and then forgot, in the nocturnal theater of your own mind? Imagine your mind, as you fall asleep, as a grand, silent film studio. During the day, it is a bustling place of production, dutifully recording the world as it happens. But at night, the director, your conscious, rational self, goes home. The studio doors are locked, and a different crew comes out to work. This is the night crew, the subconscious, the memory consolidators, the emotional processors. Their job is not to record new material, but to work with the footage that has already been shot. They are the editors, the archivists, the special effects artists of the mind. They take the raw, jumbled footage of your day, the sensory clips, the emotional outtakes, the stray thoughts, and they begin to cut, to splice, to organize. This is the crucial, behind-the-scenes work of memory consolidation. They are filing the day's experiences away in the great library, strengthening important connections, and sweeping away the irrelevant clutter. But this night crew does not work from a script. They are surrealists, poets, and jesters. As they sift through the day's footage, they also play. They create experimental films. They take a character from one memory, say, a stranger you passed on the street, and place them on a set from another, your childhood home. They might take a feeling you had during a stressful meeting and attach it to an image of a calm, blue ocean. They create narratives that don't follow the linear logic of waking life, but the associative, emotional logic of the subconscious. This is the process of dreaming. The worlds they build can be astonishingly detailed. They are master set designers. Using the infinite library of images you have collected over your lifetime, they can construct a cafe you have never been to, with a level of detail that would rival reality. They can craft the specific pattern of light on a table, the precise heft of a ceramic mug, the unique architectural details of a room. They are building these worlds from the spare parts of your own experiences, reassembling them into something new. Most of these nocturnal films are never seen. They are experimental shorts, created and then deleted before the morning comes, part of the mind's essential maintenance. You wake up with no memory of the worlds you constructed just hours before. The studio is wiped clean, ready for another day of shooting in the real world. The evidence of the night crew's work is gone. Or is it? What if a trace remains? What if the memory of the dream is deleted, but the feeling associated with its imagery lingers? Imagine that last night, in the silent studio of your mind, the night crew constructed a remarkably vivid scene, a sunlit cafe. They used a chair from a magazine you flipped through, a type of window from a house you once visited, and a general ambience from a movie you saw years ago. They built a complete, coherent, and detailed environment. You, the dreamer, walked through this set, experienced it, and then, upon waking, forgot it completely. The memory of the dream evaporates like morning mist. Later that day, you walk by chance into a real cafe. And this cafe, through sheer coincidence, happens to share a handful of key architectural or atmospheric details with the dream set your mind constructed last night. Perhaps it's the particular style of the wooden chairs. Perhaps it's the way the light slants from a high window. Your conscious mind, your day self, has no record of this place. It registers as new, but the deeper parts of your brain, the ones that were active during the dream, recognize the pattern. They sense a similarity between the real-world input and the forgotten blueprint of the dream set. And just like the theory of the fragmented past, a powerful signal of familiarity is triggered. But this time, the familiarity comes not from a forgotten moment of your waking life, but from a forgotten moment of your dream life. Your conscious mind is once again faced with a paradox. It feels an overwhelming sense of having been here before, yet it knows it is not. The feeling is potent, real, and undeniable. And so, it creates the narrative of déjà vu to bridge the gap. It cannot say, "This feels like a place I built in my head last night and then forgot," because the memory of the dream is inaccessible. So instead, it says, "I must have lived this moment before." This theory has a beautiful, poetic symmetry to it. It suggests a subtle conversation between our two selves, the waking and the dreaming. It hints that the line between these two worlds is more permeable than we imagine. The echo of déjà vu could be a faint message from your other self, the nocturnal artist, a fleeting acknowledgement of the worlds you build and unbuild every single night. It reframes the experience as a moment of profound, if confusing, self-recognition. You are not remembering a past life, but the life of your mind in its other state of being. The ghost in the machine is not a ghost from another time, but a ghost from another reality, a reality you yourself created. It's a whisper from the other side of sleep, a reminder of the tireless, creative, and deeply mysterious work your mind performs when you are not looking. And in that whisper, we can find a new layer of wonder, a new way to contemplate the strange and beautiful texture of our own existence. Section 9. A Wrinkle in Time. We have journeyed through the inner landscape, exploring the plausible ghosts that might haunt the machinery of the mind. A moment of timing gone astray, a forgotten fragment of the past, a gentle, random spark in the brain's living galaxy, a faint, forgotten echo from the world of a dream. Each of these stories offers a rational, beautiful, and deeply biological explanation for the phantom of already seen. They are attempts by the logical mind to map an illogical experience, to bring it out of the realm of the mystical and into the light of understanding. But now, let us take a step back. Let us, for a moment, cease to be scientists or neurologists and become philosophers. Let us hold the experience of déjà vu itself in our hands, like a strange, smooth stone, and consider not just how it might happen, but what its very existence implies. What does this momentary glitch, regardless of its origin, reveal about the fundamental nature of our reality? All of these explanations, in their own way, converge on a single, profound point. They are all a subtle assault on our most cherished and intuitive belief, the belief in the smooth, unbroken, linear flow of time. We live our lives on the surface of that great river of now we spoke of. We trust its current. We believe, without question, that it flows in one direction only, from a fixed past through a fleeting present into an unknown future. This is the bedrock of our sanity, the fundamental grammar of our experience. But déjà vu, for one breathtaking instant, introduces a wrinkle into that smooth surface. Imagine the fabric of time as a long, continuous sheet of silk, pulled taut and held perfectly flat. Your consciousness is a tiny bead, rolling across its surface in a perfectly straight line. This is your normal life. But then, a momentary hiccup in the machinery beneath causes the silk to ripple. For a fraction of a second, a tiny fold, a crease, appears just ahead of your path. As you, the bead of consciousness, roll over this wrinkle, you are, for an instant, in two places at once. You are touching the now and the just about to be now simultaneously. The straight line of your experience is momentarily curved back on itself. This is what déjà vu feels like. It is the sensory experience of a wrinkle in time. And it forces us to ask a deeply unsettling question. Is our perception of time's arrow, this unwavering, forward-only flow, as real as we think it is? Or is it itself a construction? A beautiful and convincing story that our brain tells itself in order to make sense of a universe that might be far stranger, far less linear than we can comprehend? The glitch reveals that the now is not as simple as it seems. It suggests that our conscious awareness, our feeling of being right here, right now, is not an instantaneous event, but a finished product. It is the result of a vast, silent, and incredibly complex process of editing, synchronizing, and interpretation that happens just beneath the surface. We are not experiencing reality directly. We are experiencing our brain's final, polished version of reality. For 99.999% of our lives, the production is flawless. The editing is so seamless that we believe we are watching a live event. We forget we are in a theater. But déjà vu is that rare, precious moment when we hear the faint whir of the projector behind our heads. It's the flicker of a frame skip. It's the instant the actor momentarily forgets a line, and we are suddenly, jarringly reminded that we are watching a play. In that moment, the illusion of a simple, direct reality is broken. We catch a glimpse of the machinery. We see the seams. And we are forced to confront the fact that we are not just passive observers of our lives, but that our minds are the active, tireless creators of the very reality we inhabit. This realization can be profoundly disorienting, but it can also be a source of incredible wonder. It doesn't necessarily make the world feel less real. It makes the mind feel infinitely more magical. It means that the universe you experience is not just something you look at, but something you are co-creating, second by second, with the silent, powerful universe within your own skull. The experience also challenges our sense of a unified self. The very feeling of being a single, coherent I is called into question. The dual processing theory suggests a conflict between a subconscious self that records and a conscious self that experiences. The dream theory suggests a dialogue between a waking self and a dreaming self. The neurological theory suggests a disconnect between the raw feeling self and the narrative-making self. In the moment of déjà vu, you are not one you. You are two. You are the self that is experiencing the new and the self that is feeling the old. And in the space between these two selves, in that momentary, confusing gap, lies a profound truth. Your identity is not a monolith. It is a symphony, a collaboration of different processes, different systems, all working in such exquisite harmony that they create the illusion of a single voice. Déjà vu is a moment of brief, beautiful dissonance that reveals the rich, polyphonic nature of your own being. So, what are we to do with this strange, fleeting whisper? Perhaps we are not meant to solve it like a puzzle. Perhaps its value is not in being explained away, but in the questions it forces us to ask. It is a crack in the ordinary through which we can glimpse the extraordinary. It is a reminder that the world is stranger, the mind is deeper, and the fabric of reality is more pliable than we usually allow ourselves to believe. It is an invitation to hold our own experience with a little more curiosity, a little more humility, and a great deal more wonder. It is a gift from the quiet, beautiful glitches in the system, a brief and shimmering glimpse into the profound mystery of being you. Section 10. The Beautiful Glitch. And so, here we are, at the end of our quiet journey. We have chased the ghost of an echo through the magnificent, winding corridors of the mind. We have stood on the banks of the river of now and watched its seamless flow. We have peered into the silent, star-filled galaxy of the brain, and we have tiptoed through the surreal film sets of our own dreams. We have gathered stories, each one a plausible and beautiful explanation for that fleeting, phantom moment in the cafe. Was it a stutter in the loom of time, a desynchronization between the experiencing self and the recording self? Was it the ghost of a forgotten past, a single, orphan tile of memory making a whole new world feel old? Was it a gentle, random misfire, a phantom spark in the sanctum of familiarity that produced a feeling with no cause? Or was it a whisper from your other self, the nocturnal artist, an echo of a world you built and forgot in the quiet hours of sleep? The truth is, we do not know for certain. The science of consciousness is still in its infancy, a brave cartographer drawing maps of a vast and mysterious continent. Perhaps one of these stories is the definitive answer. Or perhaps, in a way that is itself a testament to the mind's complexity, they are all true at different times, for different people, in different moments. Perhaps déjà vu is not a single phenomenon, but a collection of similar experiences born from different, subtle flickers in the great machine. But maybe, just maybe, the point is not to capture the ghost and pin it down with a single, definitive explanation. Maybe the point is to learn how to appreciate the echo itself, to reframe our understanding of what it means when the system stutters. We have a tendency to think of a glitch as an error, a failure, a sign of something broken. In a simple machine like a calculator, a glitch is just an unwanted mistake. But the human mind is not a simple machine. It is arguably the most complex, sophisticated, and densely interconnected object in the known universe. 100 billion neurons, with 100 trillion connections, humming with the quiet, constant fire of life. In a system of such staggering, unimaginable complexity, a glitch is not necessarily a sign of failure. It is a sign of sophistication. It is a testament to the sheer, breathtaking scope of the operations being carried out, silently and flawlessly, every single second of your life. It is like the faint, almost imperceptible hum of a tremendously powerful engine, a sound you only notice in the quietest moments that reminds you of the immense power at work beneath the hood. The momentary feedback from an amplifier pushed to its creative limits. The tiny, exquisite imperfection in a handmade object that proves it was not made by a machine. This is the beautiful glitch. It is not an error message to be feared. It is a proof of life. It is the brain's way of accidentally revealing its own magic. So, the next time it happens to you, and it likely will the next time you are sitting somewhere new and a wave of impossible familiarity washes over you, try not to be unsettled. Try not to scramble for a logical explanation. Instead, just for a moment, be still,
Take a breath.
and smile at the mystery. Recognize it for what it is. A secret handshake between you and your own mind. A momentary glimpse behind the curtain. In that instant, you are being given a rare and precious gift, a direct, sensory experience of the profound depth and complexity of your own consciousness. You are feeling the gears of your own reality. Think of it as a sign of a healthy, vibrant, and active mind. A mind so buzzing with energy, so rich with connections, so busy building your world, that it occasionally produces a harmless, beautiful spark. It's a growing pain of a profoundly complex system, not a symptom of decay. It is a whisper from the engine room, reminding you of the vast, silent, and miraculous vessel you are traveling in. The experience forces you out of the autopilot of daily life. For a moment, the mundane becomes magical. The ordinary becomes deeply, wonderfully strange. It's a moment of forced mindfulness, a sudden, sharp awakening to the fact that you are here, now, perceiving. And that this act of perception is the greatest miracle of all. Déjà vu does not reveal a flaw in your mind. It reveals the mind itself. It peels back a tiny corner of the seamless reality we take for granted and shows us the intricate, beautiful, and sometimes paradoxical machinery that constructs it. It is a love note from the abyss of your own being, a reminder that you are a deeper, stranger, and more wondrous creature than you could ever consciously know. It is not a ghost from the past come to haunt you. It is a momentary, shimmering artifact of the present, born from the simple, breathtaking fact that a universe of stars, memories, and dreams is currently residing between your ears, working tirelessly to give you the gift of this very moment. It is the beautiful, harmless, and exquisitely human glitch that proves the machine is alive. And now, as our journey comes to its gentle close, let the echoes of these ideas begin to soften. Let the library of your mind grow quiet for the night. Let the river of your consciousness slow to a peaceful, meandering pace, its surface like dark glass, reflecting only the stillness of the room around you. There is nothing left to analyze, nothing to solve. There is only the simple, physical reality of your breath, rising and falling in its own steady, unhurried rhythm. Let each thought that arises be like a cloud passing in the night sky. Acknowledge it gently, and then let it drift on by, leaving the sky clear and dark and peaceful. Allow the weight of your body to be held, to feel safe and supported. The universe inside you has worked so hard today. It is time for it to rest. It is time for the night crew to come out and do their quiet, magical work. May your dreams be kind, and may you find deep, restorative peace in the silent, mysterious hours ahead.
Sleep well.